Welcome back to the We On One podcast, hosted by David DeCapo. Today, I'm joined by a really special guest, one of my really good friends, Richie. Richie, how are you?
I'm doing good, bro. Thanks for having me.
Dude, well, thank you for coming on so last minute as well, too, so I appreciate that. You want to tell everybody how we met? Or do you remember how we met?
Well, it's kind of a long story, but
Yeah.
I remember, if I can remember correctly, is we went on back then it was the kid, my mom,
The mother, the mother of your kids?
My mother and my kids. We went on a double date.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the boys.
With the boys.
At the time, I had RJ.
It was just RJ, and I think
RJ.
at the time it was just Aria, too, right?
Mm-hmm. And we ended up going to, I think, Chili's.
It was.
Time,
yeah,
right?
it was.
Yep.
It was.
Yeah.
And then we went to a Bulls game the
Right.
second time we hung out where it was just like us.
Yeah,
adults
at the
and
time
shit.
You were working at Medline.
Yep. I was working there for a while, dude. I worked there for like 7 years. Yeah, so I remember that shit.
Right.
Did I get us the tickets that time, or did we?
I think we ended up going around the same time. We tried kind of like navigating the second time through your job. You were getting tickets.
Yeah. I do remember that.
Even though we sat far apart, we
Dude,
managed to get
I know, just fucking, it was still a vibe.
Yeah,
dude. So we met through Belinda and then the mother of his kids, and it turned out pretty cool because both of our kids were like around the same age. Right? I think Arya's a little bit older than RJ,
I
though.
think
Right?
just a year older.
Like a year older than RJ, so they kicked it off like right away. They became really good friends, and then you guys had your second child, Easy, and then we had our second child, Axel, and then they became really good friends, and then now, dude, like every fucking couple weeks or like at least once a month, they're always like asking about each other, like
especially RJ.
Oh, dude, especially RJ.
The thing that hit it off was that one time at the pumpkin patch.
Yeah.
So I mean,
dude.
Since there,
every fucking fall we go to a pumpkin patch. Yeah. I kind of look forward to those days.
I look forward to those days.
I look forward to it too, bro, because it's nice to like, even when it's just like me and you and shit, it just feels good to like, be around like minded parents and shit.
True.
Like I don't know how like you, I don't know if you have like a lot of friends with kids. Like I have a few friends, but like most of them, the age gaps are a little weird. Or like if we do have kids that are like kind of the same age, we're really not as close as like, we have been and shit like that. So, it's pretty cool to like be able to have somebody you talk to like damn near almost daily, right?
Yeah.
I would say we talk daily.
We talk pretty often.
Even though I'll admit I got to be a better friend.
Yeah, I think we all do, but it's part of life,
because like I have this thing where like we try to like make plans and shit like that, but just because of how life be lifing, sometimes it's hard,
It's hard to juggle work schedule, and then it's like you gotta check back, and like be like, hey, do we have anything planned? That's the main thing.
And then it's also hard, because you're also co-parenting.
True.
So we gotta like make sure we plan this shit a few weeks.
Weekends,
right. Make sure the weekends line up.
Yeah.
And usually like what ends up happening is whenever you have the boys, we'll have an event. And then the weekend we're like, hey, you got anything going on? Oh, I don't got the boys. And like, damn. So it's like we try to like catch each other.
Yeah, the one thing I like about you is you're always like telling me like, let me check back with your wifey.
Yeah.
And you're really close with your family and her family. So it's like, even though you guys don't have much going on, you're like, oh, we're just gonna kick it at her sister's house.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Cool. I mean, we do that just because it's like it's family,
Right.
Her and her sister are really close, so and then we also have my godson is it's like a year younger than Axel,
right?
So they're really close and stuff like that. And then Arya grew up with my sister-in-law, so they're very close. So and then I'm also close with my brother-in-law Dallas. So
yeah, that's good.
We're pretty tight knit, but for the most part, it's also one of those things where like I try to like make sure that like let me just check,
right?
Because if it's up, I'm very impulsive, so if it's up to me, I'd be like, yeah, for sure, let's hang out. And we have something to do. We have something planned for like 3 months.
You just like gotta walk back and be like, no, we can't.
Hey, so actually, we cannot play this weekend. So let's get into some topics.
For sure.
It's the Super Bowl weekend. Who do you have winning the Super Bowl? The
Honestly,
Chiefs, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
2-time champions. Nothing serious. Nobody's versus the 40 whiners. I mean
40
Niners. The Niners.
I mean, like, if anything, I don't have a dog in this fight. I mean, based off of the friendship we have, I'm rooting for Kansas City.
There you go. I like that. Where's the good man. So you're not a snake.
No, I'm not, bro. I'm not.
Unfortunately,
we're 1-1. I think when it comes down to the betting.
Yeah. We're even. We broke even. We broke even. So fuck it.
But it's kind of one of those things, like you got a good team, people are like, all right, cool, let's see you.
So let me ask you this. Are you into football?
A little bit.
A little bit. You're really into basketball, though, right?
More into basketball.
More into basketball. Football, we'll touch on that. Right. Do you believe that the NFL is rigged?
As of late, it's kind of one of those things, you know what I'm saying? Like, you start going down and you start seeing them on social media or TikTok and stuff like that, and you start going down that rabbit hole and you start seeing...
Dude, for a minute, they had me going.
Yeah.
And, like, I was, like, watching these TikToks that was just, like, if it's not TikTok, it's Instagram, or if it's Facebook. You know, all these people, they're like, dude, the NFL is rigged because, you know, the colors of the Super Bowl logo, and then they have, like, the last 2 or 3 Super Bowls that, like, the colors match and shit like that.
Yeah.
And you really get to start thinking, like, damn, like, maybe it's not rigged in that sense, but, like, you know, like, there's guys who, like, take their time really studying, like, analytics, like, football analytics for, like, betting.
Right.
So they'll tell you, like, okay, like, this ref is reffing the Kansas City Niners game, and this ref is known, or, like, it, like...
Or known for making certain calls.
Making more favorable calls to home teams.
True.
And he's refereed, I don't know, like, the last 10 Kansas City championship games, and the last... You know what I'm saying? So, like, that shit... I don't know, though, because, you know, because, like, in the NBA, there was that big old scandal with the dude who was, like, giving and shaving points with the referee, with the Sacramento Kings and the Lakers games and shit like that, like, back in, like, 2002.
Right.
Or, I don't know, some shit like that. It was a long-ass time ago, but making sure that, like, these games go, like, 7 games or whatever, so he would, like, give these guys certain foul calls, and these guys know to
get them in foul trouble and stuff. Yep. Even that whole thing also with Allen Iverson with that ref.
Yeah.
And they just had it out for him.
Yeah. They would just fucking give him a whole bunch of shit. Or, like, have you ever seen the audio of, like, the ref where Michael Jordan was, right? You know what I'm talking about? Where he's like, I trust you, Mike. My bad. I believe you, Mike. I believe you. Oh, he was glazing, dude. He is the GOAT. Yeah, he was glazing, though. Yeah. He was fucking glazing.
Anybody says otherwise
is a fucking liar, dude. They don't know shit. So yeah, like, dude, like, that, a lot of people believe that it's rigged. You know, there's obviously, like, the whole Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift thing. How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, it's just like anything. I mean, it's entertainment, and they got to draw a new fan base. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to bringing more people into sports. You know?
Yeah, because it makes everything better.
I mean, me personally, I don't really make a difference to me.
Yeah.
If she's there or not, Taylor Swift.
You know, they did this thing where they were pretty much just, like, sitting there saying that, like, the cumulative time that she's actually on the screen is, like, less than 30 seconds.
And she generates so much revenue.
So much revenue for the NFL that it's, like, almost not, like...
The thing that's
that's another thing. Is like, business is business.
Right.
So it's like, how are you not going to, like... If she's generating this much, like, fucking...
Capitalize on it, you know what I'm saying?
Capitalize on it. Because everything's a business, dude.
Right.
Everything. The NFL is, like, the biggest example of that shit.
They're saying that it's scripted, too, like... But he might propose or something like that.
I saw that shit too. He might propose. Hey. There was like an over under and shit like that. Like, you know, like, I think I don't even know if it was real. I don't know if it was just like a made up Photoshop picture, but like they have it. Some betting apps have it like it's minus 350 that he'll propose.
They're betting on that
or some shit like that. But I don't know if that shit's like if that shit's fake or not. Because what I do know is that, like, you know, certain like betting apps, what they will do is like, what color was the Gatorade? True. And then they'll give you like 3 options, and then you just pick the option, and then you bet whatever you bet, and if you hit, you win.
Whatever they're drinking,
or whatever they pour on the coach at the winning coach.
Get out of here!
Yeah,
I didn't know that one.
They have that, and then they also have like, okay, is it going to be heads or tails? You know, when they do the coin flip, you know, is it going to be heads, or you don't have any Super Bowl predictions on who you think will win? Like, honestly, like, who do you think will end up like pulling off the upset or the win?
I mean, obviously, it'd be nice to see Kansas City win, but I don't know. Something's telling me the 49ers might pull it off somehow with that quarterback they got.
Brock Purdy?
Yeah.
I don't like him, dude.
They're saying it's weird to see him so calm under pressure like that.
I don't like him.
So,
I always
the reasons, though?
I just don't. Okay. The 49ers, I think it's just a really good system. So, the 49ers went to the Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo. Okay. Jimmy Garoppolo gets traded to the Raiders, or he signs with the Raiders, loses his job to a rookie. So how is he that good that he was able to get you to a Super Bowl 4 years ago, and now all of a sudden he just doesn't even have a job? He's not even a starting QB for the Vegas Raiders. You know what I'm saying?
So it's kind of like what people are saying right now with the Spurs. I'm saying a lot of players were saying like Tony Parker, Ginobili, and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. They're saying that they were only good because of the system. Because of the system.
It could be. I mean, to be honest with you, they were like, for a long time, everybody just kept saying like they were a really boring team.
Right.
And I thought the same thing. But then, like, if you really just think about it, I mean, they're just the more fundamentally sound team.
Right.
They just do the right things at the right time. And I feel like that's what the 49ers are. Like, they're just really well coached. So they just do the right things at the right time. Yeah. Like Kyle Shanahan, who's like the head coach of the fucking 49ers. Like, I think he's just a really great coach. And I think he'll find a quarterback. He'll figure out exactly what his strengths and his weaknesses are.
And then they'll
build around that a little bit.
Okay.
Obviously he's a run first guy. Mm-hmm. So that's why he like traded for like literally the best running back in the league, Christian McCaffrey.
Okay.
And so they preach running the ball. That's how his dad ran his system. That's how he runs his system. Mm-hmm. Every 49er team, they've never had the same like starting running back until like Christian McCaffrey. It was always one guy that would just like do really well. Mm-hmm. And then the next year it's another guy. But like they focus on running the ball a lot. Okay. So it's like, but now he saw, okay, Brock Purdy is really good. If you give him enough time, he can do game management. Okay. He'll manage the clock. He'll make the right decisions at the right time. So like, yeah, to a certain extent, yeah, he's a good quarterback. But do I think he's elite? No, I don't think he's elite. I think that
it's above average.
No, I think he's good.
Yeah,
I think he's way above average. I think he's good enough. I think that if he goes to the Bears, he'll be a starter. He'll probably be better than Justin Fields.
We need all the help we need. That's for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So like,
tired of losing, man.
So I think that. So I think that about him. I don't think he's better than Jordan Love. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's another guy who like you can sit there and say like, oh, is he a system? I don't think he's a system quarterback because he fell like. He literally learned behind a Hall of Fame quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. And he just learned. It soaked it all up.
But that's a little bit annoying how the Packers end up getting so lucky with quarterbacks. They're like, yo, come on, man.
But that's what every other team should be watching.
True.
They should be seeing, what did they do so well that, like, this kid transitioned so good? It's the fact that he waited. It's the fact that they had a really good, like, veteran quarterback showing the way. They still had enough years in his career that he had elite play. And he saw
playing
that.
the long game.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Rather than just bringing in somebody.
Exactly. Okay. Rushing to it. Because now they're talking about, like, oh, the Bears should get rid of fucking Justin Fields and get it right. Like, for what? You didn't even give him enough time to develop.
True.
Why you want to rush him off so quick?
Or build around him.
You know? You are building around him, but, like, you don't protect him long enough so he can fucking throw the ball. So now he's fucking rushing to, like, just fucking run the ball and do all this shit, and he's going to get injured. He's going to get hurt.
True.
You know? But I don't know. My prediction is honestly that the Chiefs are going to win. I think the Chiefs will win.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not just saying like because it's just like
Mahomes is good under pressure. He can let go of the ball in like weird positions.
He can keep up. Like, dude, I've seen games where he's literally down 24-0, and he just like catches up, and then the other team doesn't score ever again in the rest of the game.
So let me ask you this: with the whole debate, Tom Brady or Mahomes?
Right now, it's Tom Brady.
True.
Because it's still, at least in my opinion, it's still a little bit too early to be like, okay, is Patrick Mahomes Tom Brady's Tom Brady. Tom Brady's Michael Jordan.
Right.
Mahomes is LeBron.
Okay.
But the difference between that comparison is that Mahomes made it right then and there. Like his second season as a starter, he was in the fucking Super Bowl and he won it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
True.
And he's really good. And he's been the last 5 years that he started, he's been in the AFC Championship 4 times. And he's won 2 Super Bowls out of the 3 that he's been to. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to be like, dog, is he not? He's the greatest right now? Yeah, he's the greatest quarterback in the league right now.
Okay.
Active quarterbacks, he's the greatest. Better than Aaron Rodgers. He's better than fucking Jordan Love. He's better than fucking Brock Purdy. He's way better than Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, all those other guys. I think he's a lot better. He's miles ahead of those guys.
So what do you think about like longevity-wise? Do you think he's going to stay and say like, hey, the face of the Kansas City Chiefs?
They have no choice. They paid him almost $500 million. Right. He has no choice. He's there for the next 10 years.
Oh, okay.
That was his contract. It was like $500 million in like 10 years.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? So like that's a big ass contract. So you're there for 10 years. Okay. Now the thing about him is that so like what ends up worrying people is like, okay, if you pay him $500 million, how are they gonna be able to like build around him? You know, they don't have any money because they spent all the money on him, right?
True.
He's proven to do it with anybody. He won a Super Bowl last year with no wide receiver one. Just Travis Kelce.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Minimal run game. There's gonna be a lot of people in the comments talking hellish shit. I already see this shit coming too.
Yeah.
There'll be a lot of people that be like, "Yo, he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about." Yada yada yada. But it's the truth. He had no wide receiver, no real wide. Tyreek Hill left.
Okay.
Tyreek Hill left. Tyreek Hill will never win another Super Bowl.
No.
He should have stayed in Kansas City because he'll never win ever again. I hope that paycheck was worth it, but he'll never win ever again.
What, he went like free agent or something? Or
No, they. I think they traded him. So they want, or either they traded him, or yeah, I'm pretty sure it came down to a trade because he wanted more money, and Kansas City couldn't give him the money that he wanted. I think they were only off a few million, and then when Kansas City finally said, "Yeah, we'll pay you," he was just like, "No, fuck that. I'm just go to Miami." He's from Florida,
True.
so he went to Miami. He's like, "Well, do I want to sit in Kansas City where it's cold half the year, or do I just go to Miami?" You know what I'm saying? Which, if you have already won a Super Bowl and you're just looking for a paycheck, I guess.
True.
You know,
that was gonna be my question.
You make it comfortable, you know.
Yeah.
You get comfortable.
True.
But if he still wants to compete, I don't know how he's gonna do that with Tua.
Okay.
But
that was gonna be my question to you. You know, saying one thing that circulates a lot I see on TikTok is people asking like, "Do you want to be known for winning championships and not make much money, or would you rather like walk away with a lot of money at the end of your career?" So with him winning that Super Bowl, like, and not being able to get as much money
or championships,
yeah.
I mean, me personally, I would rather win championships.
Yeah,
fuck yeah, dude. Look at Tom Brady was never the highest paid quarterback. Never. He would always take pay cuts just to keep his team around him because he would rather win championships.
True.
That's crazy. Like when you really think about it, it's like, dude, Tom Brady could have made Patrick Mahomes money because he proved that he didn't need Bill Belichick to win because he left the Patriots the first year he played for the Bucks. He won the Super Bowl.
True.
He doesn't need Bill Belichick. So he could have got paid a lot.
So you think it's more Tom Brady than the system?
Bro, this nigga lost his wife. This nigga lost his wife to fucking football, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like
the competitive edge is different.
Listen, bro, I love this podcast shit, bro, but I'm not losing my family over this shit. Like, it's not that serious.
Yeah.
But to him, it was.
Yeah.
To him, it was like all or nothing.
But that just goes to show you that's a different breed right there. Like,
yeah, bro, that's a different mindset.
Kobe.
That's a different mindset. Like, there was like this another TikTok. We talk about TikTok a lot, but another TikTok that was like Kobe Bryant. It wasn't like Kobe, Tom Brady, and Michael. It's not that they were. I don't know what it was, but pretty much they were it's not that they were obsessed with winning or some shit like that, or however what it was, but they really wanted it.
True.
They weren't settling for the championship. They loved everything. Kobe Bryant ate, breathed, shitted basketball to the detriment of his family, you know? Mm-hmm. I'm sure he got into plenty of fights with his wife over it. Tom Brady lost his family because that's just what he wanted. He wanted to win. He wanted nothing more but just to be the fucking best. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
And sometimes it just takes that, like, it takes I don't know, bro. Like, it just takes a different. It's a different type of animal, bro. Mm-hmm. It's like, how bad do you want to win? True. Like, are you willing? Like, how much are you willing to put on the line to fucking win?
So, yeah,
you know. And you gotta. I mean, that just doesn't apply in sports, bro. That applies in like everything in life.
In life, yeah.
Like, I know how far I'm willing to
sacrifices.
Go. Exactly, but this shit sucks.
Yeah.
You know, I would. You know, like I would. Like we're doing it right now. Like, yeah, like I'd rather be sleeping right now, but I really want to win.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm glad that I have friends like you who want to win, who want to see me win and want to win with me. They're like, hey, bro, I got you, bro.
Yeah.
I'll show up for you. Because that shit, at the end of the day, that's the shit that, like, motivates me. That's the shit that motivates other people when you have, like, really good friends or, like, just people who want to see you win more than you want to see yourself win.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So,
that's
but, like,
important.
Let me ask you this. Just staying on topic of, like, football and shit like that, do you ever think you would let your kids play, like, contact sports? You know, because you have two sons, right?
Right.
And I know that they play soccer, right? They play soccer and baseball. Mm-hmm. But like, would you ever let them like suit up, put like full contact pads on?
Me personally, my boys, no.
Why
because
not?
I think it's all depends on your child. You know your child.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't want to put my kids in a predicament where just because of my upbringing, me being more physical, they're not like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Me personally, I would like them to play more baseball, soccer, and stuff like that.
Yeah. I'm conflicted with that. So, like, I really want Axel to play football just because I love football.
True.
But I'm also not willing to, like, put his, like, brain his body.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, bro, because like those kids get concussions, dude. Like, and then if you have a coach who's not like teaching these kids how to like fucking play the correct way and shit like that, like they'll end up fucking hurting each other.
True.
You know, I've seen that shit. Like, there's videos all the time online of just kids just smacking the shit out of each other with full helmets, like head to head type shit. It's just like, you know, and then the coaches are in the background hyping it up, and it's like, dude, you're not even like, you're not teaching them discipline. You're not teaching them anything. Kids, you're just, they're little kids, bro. Like, you're like fucking letting these kids like literally give each other like brain damage.
Right. No, I wouldn't let my boys play.
No.
Their mom wanted to get them into like flag football a little bit,
but see, flag football is okay. I think flag football is okay, but it could also be one of those things where like if you push off a little too hard,
true.
You know what I'm saying? Right. Push off, yeah, it's gonna happen, but I don't know, man. I'm very conflicted. I think it's like Axel. I'm at the point where like I think I'm just gonna let him decide.
True.
Once he's a little older. Mm-hmm. But like if like say RJ, your oldest, comes to you and says, "Hey, Dad, I really want to play football."
He says he wants to. He's like, I want to play tackle football.
Yeah.
But it's just like anything.
You know him, like
I know him.
You know him.
He's that's not him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's more of like artistic. I'm pushing him to be more into sports and everything, just to be more social.
Yeah.
And develop that competitive edge.
Yeah.
But he's.
What about like? So like I know that you've trained in like martial arts, right? Like MMA, jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. Would you be opposed to them doing that?
No, I encouraged him to do it. I took him to a couple classes.
Really?
Yeah. But it's just like anything. Like I said, you know your kid. He doesn't have that competitive edge in him as far as being like ruthless and wanting to put that physical aspect into it.
Like he's not like it's not like necessarily like he's more like not like he doesn't like to hurt people.
True.
Like that's not what's in him.
That's not in him.
Yeah. Where like with us, like growing up like that, like we used to like at least me, like I would play tackle football with like my friends, and then I would just be like, I like that shit. Like it just made you feel like that aggression, just let you get it out.
Right. So the difference, like also kind of to go back to how you said it with the friends and family and cousins and stuff like that. There's a huge age gap between like my boys and my brother's kids, and then all my other cousins. My other cousins had kids at like a very young age. Yeah. So by the time I had kids, I was like the youngest one to have kids. Yeah. They were all already in their teens and stuff like that. So I mean, he didn't really have.
So like RJ's cousins are all older than him.
Yeah, they're all older than him. Me and my brother and all my cousins, we all grew up around the same age. So todo lo que sabías is, you know what I'm saying, like roughhousing, putting the gloves on, you know what I'm saying, playing tackle football, you know what I'm saying, riding our bikes. So unfortunately, in this generation, just is a little different.
Yeah,
but
I wouldn't even say that's like unfortunately. I think that's just like it's like you said, it's just a different generation. Like I don't think it's bad that kids nowadays aren't really like angry.
True,
because you gotta think about it, bro. Like that's a lot of coming to do with like what's going on at home.
Right.
Like me, like I was just angry just because like I wanted to like just fucking I don't know. I was just really aggressive as a little kid.
Yeah.
Like I just always wanted to play tackle football. I would meet up with my friends. We'd all like just. I think it'd be like 15 of us would just go to a fucking elementary school park and just fucking beat the shit out of each other.
Right.
For no reason. For no reason.
Start tripping.
Like just start tripping, bro. Like just start throwing literally playing street ball. Right. Like street NFL. You ever play that game?
Yeah.
Yeah, like literally just in the middle of the street just tackling each other into fucking mailboxes.
Yeah.
That shit's happened. And I'm just like, what? Like I look back at it now and if I see like Axel outside with like RJ.
Yeah.
And they're playing or like easy, and they're like just fucking slinging the fucking football at each other and just tackling each other into mailboxes. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah. Like, first of all, you're gonna break the fucking neighbor's goddamn mailbox, and now you're gonna fucking sit there and just fucking kill RJ. And what the fuck am I gonna tell his fucking dad?
Yeah.
Hey, bro, like when he got here, did he have 2 eyes? 2 eyes? Just one?
Just one? You sure he had 2?
You sure? Did he have all 10 fingers?
Yeah. No,
you know what I'm saying?
I completely agree.
Yeah, but like I you know, it's one of those things where like I kind of wanted to get your opinion on it just because it's something that like, you know, I think about that a lot, you know, because especially like right now Axel's getting into that age where he's wanting to learn how to throw a football, he's learning how to play basketball, and you know, not that like I'm concerned because I know that like he's a tough kid.
True.
Like he's strong. Like we've seen them wrestle and shit like that. Like I know he can hold his own, but I'm also like I know he can hurt another kid. So I'm like, do I really want to put him in a situation where like he can hurt himself or hurt somebody else for no reason?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to like him, like the boys playing.
I like that
martial arts and stuff like that.
Like even like when our boys are playing, like I like the fact that they roughhouse with each other.
True. Like the pumpkin patch when
when they're on the fucking they're on a trampoline, just flipping each other, throwing each other because like Axel doesn't have brothers. He has Arya, and Arya too. Like she kind of sometimes she gets down a little bit too, so she gets a little roughhoused too. But at the end of the day, she's still a girl,
right?
So she's not really trying to hurt anybody.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like I kind of want him to like I wrestle with him here, but I also want him to like be able to like wrestle with kids kids that are his age, because like I saw this thing that pretty much said that like dads who roughhouse with their kids tend to give their kids like more self-confidence.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Like they have more self-confidence. These kids are, 9 times out of 10, they have better, like, they're more self-aware. They have more confidence. They're more comfortable in situations that normal kids would not be comfortable in.
True. That makes a huge difference, because like when they're around like cousins and stuff like that, like for example, Axel, if they were like to do it with other people, they'd like get hurt or something, they'd like start like being like crying or something.
Yeah.
But if they see that other kids are doing it as well, they're just gonna either like, not in a sense of like sucking it up, but they're like, all right, cool, it's part of the
yeah. Like when I see that shit, like when when they would come over and they're like in the backyard, like fucking just chasing each other, jumping around the trampoline or something, I'm just like, oh, okay, like they know that they're like not like really trying to hurt each other.
True.
And it's like weird to see kids that like they don't communicate that though.
Yeah.
They just know that they're not trying to hurt each other.
It's unwritten, yeah.
Yeah, it's like an unwritten rule. They just know like I'm not gonna fuck you up. I'm just like,
gonna hurt.
You're just gonna hurt each other. Yeah. So, getting past that a little bit, I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about like our friendship and shit like that. Like I think that like, friendships like amongst men, not sometimes are more like not stereotypes, but like a lot of people don't know that like men tend to be a lot more encouraging to each other. And I don't have a lot of friends. Like I have you, and then I have another friend who, like we send each other text messages like, yo, like, hey, bro, whatever you're going through, just know that I got your back. Right. Whatever you need, bro, I'm here for you type shit. And those are the type of things that, like, me as just, like, as a person, bro, I didn't have that with, like, my older brothers.
Okay.
You're a little bit older than me, so I kind of, like, see you as, like, my older brother type shit. So, like, when I get those text messages, it's very encouraging. Mm-hmm. And I remember one time I, like, left my phone on the bed, and you had texted me. And Belinda's like, who the fuck is texting you at, like, I don't know, I think it was in the morning, and she's like, who the fuck is texting you at like 9 a.m? I was like, I don't know, just look. And she goes and she's like, it's Richie. And she's like, sees a preview of the message, and she's just kind of like, she's like, you guys talk to each other like that? And I was like, yeah, like, what, is it weird? Or like, she's like, no, it's just, it's, I never would picture guys that like encourage each other, because usually it's like, when people think about like guy friends and shit like that, people think like, because for the most part, yeah, like I have friends like I fuck around with, like I call dumbass, stupid, right. Like, but I think like with like me and you, there's like boundaries. Like I would never disrespect you, even like in a joking way. Like I respect you to the point where like I wouldn't say like like I wouldn't call you a dumbass out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's not because like you're scared of me or I'm scared of you. It's just kind of like we have that like it's that respect that like we built with each other. That like, dude, like, I respect you. I want to see you win, especially like, through a lot of the things that we don't talk about, like, just background shit that, that I know that you've been through, shit that, that I've been through. And we just kind of sit there and we, just, hey, bro, just so I got your back. True. Whatever it is, dog, whatever you got going on this week, bro. I know this week's a little fucked up and shit like that, but hey, bro, just pull through. You got it. Yeah. What do you think about that?
I think it's important. A lot of guys aren't as open, because of whatever like their upbringing is and whatnot. Me, I was fortunate enough to have that with my brother,
right?
Where we're always like bouncing off each other, and my pops too. You know what I'm saying? He's kind of old school, but he kind of drops those gems here and there. You know what I'm saying? While we're in the kitchen and stuff like that, and I think that helped me a lot to be able to pass that on. And I've been fortunate enough to have like older friends that kind of like throughout my life have mentored me, and guided me. Yeah. Because upbringings are important, because I have older cousins that have gone down the wrong paths,
right?
And they've always been able to be like, it's not kind of like in you to take this path, so you're a lot smarter than us.
Yeah.
So they've always been able to drop gems.
Yeah, they're always like the ones that like, hey, like I know that you're smarter than what you think that you are. Like you're better than what you the path that you're leading on, bro. You're a lot better than that.
Yeah. So I think it's important to be able to like share that with
just people, yeah. Well, like I appreciate it, bro, because like, okay, like I have 2 older brothers, right?
True.
But by the time that like I was growing up, they were already married and they had moved out and shit like that, had their own family. So it was never like I was close. I'm still to this day like they're my brothers, but like I don't talk to them on the daily. You know, I don't talk to them at all. I think I talk to my brothers maybe like once a year.
That's because of the age gap, you feel?
I think it's because of the age gap.
Yeah.
We have nothing in common. You know what I'm saying? Like they're a lot older than me. They're like 43, 44, around that age.
That's
like it's a big gap. Yeah. Well, there's like 9 of us in total.
The parents got busy, dog.
They have cable. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have Netflix, nothing, bro. They were just nothing else to do.
Okay.
You know, so it's like it's just I don't know, bro. Like I always thought like that was like, you know, like really cool, bro. Like I just always appreciated that, you know, and it really started off with like you. Like you started doing that with me that made me comfortable. Like, all right, like, you know, because I've always wanted to do that with someone. And then when I met my guy Chewy Too Blurry and shit like that, I don't know if you've seen him, but he also has a podcast and shit like that. We met through a mutual friend.
All right.
And this isn't someone who like, bro, we've never hung out in person.
That's crazy.
Me and him have never hung out in person. We've had phone calls, voice memos, text messages, all types of shit. Encouraging stuff. It's just that encouraging shit, bro. Because you know, he's on the same path that I'm on. Okay. You know, he's trying to make it in. He's trying to carve his own road in this podcast shit. I'm trying to carve my own road in this podcast shit. And we hit each other up. You know, like, hey, bro, I just found out how to do this. Here's this, and this. That's dope. Hey, bro, I just learned how to. Right, we don't gatekeep with each other. That's love. Right? I don't gatekeep with nobody. Like, no, I can, you know, I can vouch for that. There's a lot of people who like have started podcasts from Round Lake or just from Lake County in general who've like hit me up and been like, yo, what mics do you use? What do you use? And shit like that. And I give them the game, bro. I said, look, this is how I did it. You know, like you choose to do it however you want, but this is how I did it. This is what was easier for me. Yeah. You know, and you've approached me about shit like that too. And you know damn well, bro, from firsthand experience, I don't gatekeep nothing.
No, you don't.
Especially if I fuck with you, bro. Like I'd even tell you, bro, come use my equipment type shit, you know? Yeah. So I don't know. It was just one of those things where, bro, like I have two people that, like, boom, I can always bounce ideas off. Like I can always bounce. It's always good to have somebody you can bounce ideas off or just thoughts off. Yeah. You know, especially with like, I'm really big on like mental health. Yeah. You know, I'm really big on like, you know, figuring out like your path, figuring out what you're good at and what you want to do in life, and figuring out a purpose.
Yeah, that's important.
You know, do you feel like you found your purpose yet?
No.
No.
I'm still working at it. I bounce a lot from job to jobs. Like my brother, he's really good at like he works with my pops, like modeling and stuff. So that whole like tradesman thing came natural to him. Yeah. I try to do it and it's just no me salió. Yeah. So I mean, as far as purpose goes, I mean, right now it's easy to say like my purpose is to be a father. Yeah. And
but that is, but it's not easy because being a father isn't easy.
It's not. But it's not. I mean, it comes and goes sometimes from people to people. But me, it's natural to just be there for my boys. So yeah, it's just one of those things. Right now is one of my biggest, proudest things to say is that I'm a father of two boys.
That's awesome, dude. And you know, especially like, you know, because we came from like, you know, you're Mexican, obviously I'm Mexican, and you know, growing up, like my dad wasn't really like affectionate. I don't know how your dad was. I met your dad. Your dad's a great man, dude. Yeah, like he's awesome dude, man. And like sometimes like I see how your relationship is with your dad, and you know, just from the outside looking in. Obviously, I don't know what it was like seeing you guys growing up, but like damn, sometimes like damn, like, you know, like I wish I would have had that with my dad, you know. But I understand that my dad was working all day. You know, my dad didn't have the opportunities that I had, where he was able to go to school and just do things and be able to like really think outside of like anything else that he knows. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm sure that if my dad had it the way he wanted it, it would be like he'd work, I don't know, 8-9 hours a day, and then he'd spend the rest of the day with his family. But like, dude, he literally worked from like sun up, sundown, come home, bro. And he was a landscaper, so the last thing he wants to do is like come home and like hang out. Yeah. He just wants to come home, takes a shower, eat, just fucking chill on the couch, figure out whatever else is going on.
Because he owned a company, right?
Yeah. He had his own. He had his own landscaping company for like 15 years, and you know, he did that for a long time. And he, you know, because I was a kid when he was building it. You know, really establishing himself. So when I was just seeing it growing up, bro, I was just like, damn, like this nigga's always tired. You know, like that's all I ever saw. You know, and now as an adult, as a dad, who I can look back and be like, damn, like he tried. You know what I'm saying? He was trying. You know, and it wasn't like that he wasn't affectionate and shit like that. It was just that all he knew was how to work.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But like, how do you approach like parenting two boys, especially like you know, going back to like, you know, you grew up in the traditional Mexican household, because I've also met your mom, amazing person, and that's what I'm saying. Like, how do you like separate the bad habits that come in our culture with like being, you know, like a machista, and just like, you know, instilling into your boys' heads that like you're a man, you can't cry, you can't do this, you can't do that, like you need to, you know, the traditional shit.
True. Well, I mean, I approach it a little different because I love my kids, bro. I tell them all the time, like, there's not a day that goes by that I hug them and kiss them, and they know it. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing, like, to kind of go back with my dad, kind of similar to your dad. He wasn't as affectionate as we got older and my brother had his kids.
Yeah.
They kind of gave him that second chance to kind of, you know what I'm saying? Because all he did was work as well. He was provided for us. He was, as far as that goes, he was a great father. Yeah. He is a great father. But that's one thing that kind of lacked a little bit as far as like that encouraging aspect.
That encouragement, the affection.
That affection of those moments to show up. And at the time you're young and you're just like, he's not here. Why isn't he here? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But as you get older, like you said, you reflect back and you're like, man, like he really sacrificed a lot to not go to graduations, not go to games, not go to parties and stuff like that, because he was, you know, grinding it out.
Yeah, because like if you think about it, like that's like that was his like ultimate sacrifice, like his ultimate, like, you know, they call it his a love language.
True.
He's a provider,
right?
You know what I'm saying? And I felt like that was my dad growing up and shit like that. And then, you know, and I'm the same way. Like, you know, like I really, you know, I'm glad that I had a daughter first.
Okay.
Because it broke me in the sense that like it taught me how to love somebody who wasn't me. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, like I was with Belinda, right? So obviously, like I love Belinda, but that's like a different type of love. Like having a love for your wife to me is different than having a love for your first kid. Okay. You know, because she really grew up with us.
For real.
You know what I'm saying? Like we had her as a kid, so she really grew up with us, and you know, I didn't know how to be affectionate. I didn't know that my parents were never affectionate with me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, it was never a thing where like I would be like comfortable, like, you know, baby talking her in public and giving her hugs and kisses and stuff like that. And I've never changed a diaper and shit. But I knew that like the way I felt, I never want to make my kids feel.
True.
So like from day one, bro, I was a hands-on dad. Hands-on as fuck. Like changing diapers, staying up. You know, me and Belinda worked opposite shifts, so I would take the night shift. I'd get home fucking 11 p.m., midnight some nights, and I'd stay up till like fucking 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, feeding her, putting her back to sleep, watching TV, because I knew she was going to wake up in like 2 hours.
Or just being mindful of like your partner being, like, since you said Belinda was working first shift, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like mindful that she's got to wake up at 8. Yeah, she's got to wake up at 8, get ready for work. And
that's where that machismo thing, you're just like, kind of like, nah, that's not going to work. Like, you want to be hands-on. Yeah. That's how I was too.
Yeah.
But that's because, how I am.
You know, because we grew up, like I saw my brother, like my brother used to live with us, and I see my sister-in-laws, they would do everything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And not necessarily like my brothers weren't good dads. I mean, you know, one of them, whatever, but like one of my older brothers, he was a really good dad. He was hands-on as well. So seeing him kind of like, but he wasn't as hands-on as like me and you were.
Right.
You know, he was later on with like his kids later on, but like with his first kids, they kind of like, he lacked that a little bit, but he was also a kid too when he was having his kids.
True.
So you really can't hold too much against him. He just was doing everything that he knew, you know? So, I mean, it's interesting. So, like, you know, having Aria first really teaching me how to love a kid, how to love my children, how to love that unconditional love, just being able to, you know, break that mold and be able to, like, you know, tell your kids, like, bro, it's just like a pure, innocent love. You know what I'm saying? And then when I had Axel, like, the first thing that, like, I, like, almost was, like, went into, like, panic mode.
Why is that?
Just because it's, like, he's a boy. I instantly saw me. I saw everything that I put my parents through.
Yeah.
I saw everything
Yeah,
that like
that's a little up I got.
right, you know, I saw everything that I felt, you know, every emotion,
Yeah.
you know, because I have this saying that like I didn't make it up, but like I really strongly believe in is uh like you love your son the right way so he grows up to be a loving man.
Okay.
You know,
Right.
love him the right way so he learns how to love. Because if you don't love your son, he's not gonna grow up knowing how to love. If you don't love your daughter, they're not gonna grow up. One, especially daughters, they're never gonna, you know, they're not gonna be able to grow up and love themselves, and you know, and both boys and girls are gonna be seeking that attention, that love from things that aren't positive and shit like that.
Right.
You know, whether it be with like, you know, your daughter and just looking for that affection and that, you know, what is that shit called? Pretty much looking for like that acceptance from another man.
True.
You know what I'm saying? And like your son just seeking like acceptance outside of home, that validation that he's a man. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That like that hurt ego that he has. So he never really was validated. Yeah. So he goes and he seeks that
somewhere else. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
From friends or the streets,
from whatever it is. You know, because that's how I did it.
True.
I seek that from the streets because I was just like I didn't get that at home. I didn't get that validation. I didn't get that. Hey man, like you're worth something.
Right.
You know, we love you.
So that reward to say, oh, I'm being accepted into something.
Into anything.
Okay.
Doesn't even have to be something, just anything. It just felt good. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of what leads like those like bad habits to like build. And then you just pass that shit on to kids. So like you have to first identify that shit and be like, okay, like I don't want to do that to my kids, so let me like never do that to my kids. That's how you break cycles. But like I bring that up to you because like I see that you're a very loving person to your kids. Like you're always like, you know, like obviously like, you know, you have Facebook moms, Facebook dads, you know, people who post their kids all the time and you know, but then you know them in real person and you're like, they're not really like,
yeah, you're not like that.
Yeah, you know, like you're on your phone all day. You're not really with your kids. You know, I see you at the functions. You're not really loving, you know, but like I can't say that about you.
Right.
You know,
my biggest thing is like showing up, whether it's practice, whether it's games, whether it's, you know what I'm saying. If I can make the school events, those are a little earlier for my work schedule, but my biggest thing is just showing up, just being there, being present. You know what I mean? Like my kids deserve that. You know
So like, you know, moving on to like a little bit more of a deeper subject, you know, I know that like you're co-parenting with the mother of your children, right? And at first, you know, when you guys separated, you know, how did you deal with that? How did that affect you as far as like just as a person?
As a person, it was rough, but luckily, you know what I'm saying, like I've had a good support system, family, friends, you included. It was tough at first, but you know what I'm saying, I managed to get through it, and it's part of life, man. Nothing's forever. So I took a different approach at it because, you know what I'm saying, like in this day and age, you know what I'm saying, around here you see a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, like they have kids with people and it ends up going sour fast. And I didn't want to take that approach. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like at first it's a mix of emotions, you know, you go through an emotional roller coaster where it's like anger and you start reflecting on a lot of stuff, but you got to do that inner work, you know what I'm saying? To say, what approach do I want to take going forward? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not just in a relationship with that person. You got kids with this person, you know what I'm saying? So you got to think of the kids, and when it comes down to that, the kids come first. Yeah. So you got to put your ego, your pride, and
what you want,
whatever I want. It's not about you anymore.
Because you know, like I remember that time because, like you said, you know, we were talking at the time, and I remember a lot about it. And you know, dude, I would reflect on it, you know, because I would think about like, fuck, what would I do if that was me, you know, and just like, dude, like the way you handled it, bro, like I can't even like tell you how like fucking proud I am of you. Okay. Because you handled that shit so well, dude. Like even when you weren't well, like you handled that shit. You know what I'm saying? And like I know we talked a little bit about it. You know, you kind of got back into the word. You know, you started going back to church and shit like that. Huge you know, speak on it. You know, because a lot of people they don't like to talk about religion and shit like that. Like to me, I don't oppose religion. I think to me, whatever religion makes you a better person, as long as you're not hurting anybody. True. whatever helps you,
whatever your beliefs are,
whatever makes you a better man, a better woman, a better father, a better mother, a better partner, a better whatever, dude. I support that shit 100%. Whether it's religion, whether it's whatever it is, exercising, whatever it is. Like, how did religion play a role in your healing process?
It played a huge role, bro, because my cousin, she's big into church. She, devoted her life. She gave her life up to Christ, and she was always like telling me like, hey, come, she never pushed it on me, but she said, hey, like whenever you feel free. And at that time, I was going through, the split up,
right?
And she extended an invite, and just when the support system, small group, going to church on Sundays, just being surrounded by people, having that support system and not being alone, because being alone can get you, like, your mind just starts
in a dark place.
Yeah, in a dark place. And you just like self-sabotage in a sense, But if you put yourself around people, around the right people, and know what it is you want for yourself, because at the end of the day, you know what's right and wrong, and it's easy to spiral down into something that can just lead down the wrong path.
Yeah.
So luckily, I had the support system where I can go to church, small group, and it helped me a lot.
Yeah. And that's like good to hear, because it's like, it's good to know that, like, because like I said, like, one of my biggest battles with, like, with religion sometimes could be like the judgmental part that comes with it,
True.
And it's very discouraging, and that to me is like, sometimes I'm just like, fuck, like, I try to do my best, bro, like, to just be a better person, be a better father, be a better husband. And that's something that, like, I try to remind myself every single day, bro. I just got to be a better, first things first, I got to be a better husband.
True.
In order for you to be a good father, you need to be a good partner. In order to be a good partner, you need to be a good father. So they kind of go hand in hand for me.
True.
And then everything follows from that. You become a better brother, you become a better friend, you become a better coworker, a better person. Because I try to think about that shit, like, just in like a step, like in like steps.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I try every single day just to at least try to be, wake up with like motivation and just positivity and shit like that. And sometimes I feel like, that maybe I should, Belinda tells me all the time, dude, like, we really need to go to church.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always like, yeah, we should go to church, but I'm just, it's one of those things, bro, where, like, just because you haven't been in a long time, you kind of are not afraid to go, but it's like, I don't even know what the word is.
You feel like you'd be judged, like, oh,
yeah,
why? Yeah.
Like, I don't belong.
No, you always belong.
Why, like, I would never want to, like, I don't like going to people whenever I need them, just because it's convenient to me.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel sometimes. Sometimes I feel like maybe sometimes my faith isn't as strong because I only seek faith whenever I'm in a messed up position.
Yeah, like
whatever,
like Jelly Roll.
Whatever. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's part of life, bro. When things are going good, you take things for granted.
Yeah.
But my biggest thing to you would be just go, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, it would help you a lot. You'd be surprised what you would hear. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe that one time you go to that church.
I think it's also finding the right church finding the right
too.
community, finding the good church, and not even because all churches are good. But I'm saying, like, finding that good community,
right?
Finding somewhere where you go and you feel comfortable to bring your family every Sunday or whatever the mass is and shit like that. Just to be able to really connect with the community that's there, because that's like 95% of it.
True.
Because the last thing you want to do is go somewhere where, like, the father is, like, very judgmental.
True.
And then you're just like, damn, I don't want to come back.
Bad taste
right. And because now
that's
how you think of everything.
Yeah.
Even though it's just
like
one
this,
person.
You're going straight to hell, or you're doing this, it's bad. And it's
type
just
shit.
Like, no.
And you're just like, dude, like, we all sin, bro.
Yeah. Oh, this is why I don't come.
Yeah, this is
exactly. Just gives you, like, I'll see you in 6 months.
That's exactly how it is, where you just kind of like, damn, this is exactly why I don't show up,
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, I want to take this opportunity to extend the invite. You're more than welcome to come to Journey. It's the church I go to.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Whatever your beliefs are and everything, it's a Christian church, but I mean, we're open.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. So, you went through the breakup. Religion was like a big part of that. Of the healing process. But once just because you guys were broken up and you were hurting, and then you were still trying to find yourself, doesn't mean that being a dad stops.
Oh no, that never stops.
Right?
Yeah.
How did you guys handle how did you first handle the co-parenting process? Like, was it a struggle for you at first?
No, because at the end of the day, like there's history there.
Yeah.
So you wanna do the best for the kids.
Yeah.
So you try to find a balance, and you also have to respect the fact that what I'm saying, like you don't want it to go sour or make it awkward. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not together, but you got to make it work.
Yeah.
So I mean, the co-parenting aspect, we both were mature enough to say, hey, like we're do the best we can. You know what I'm saying? Like X amount of days you'll get them, X amount of days I'll get them, and go from there.
Yeah. Like obviously, like right now we're not seeing eye to eye. We're obviously like at odds, but at the end of the day, this shit's bigger than both of us.
Exactly.
We both have to like figure this out for the kids. You're better than me, dude. It's like, I don't know, man. I'm just that's where I need to do some growing.
See,
that's where I need to do some growing because I like to be petty.
Yeah. See, me,
Belinda never leave me because I'll be petty. I tell her all the time too. I fuck
your life miserable.
I fuck around where I'm like, hey, you know who Austin McBroom is?
No.
The Ace family.
Okay, yeah.
So he's going through like a divorce.
Yeah.
And his wife kicked him out.
Okay.
So this dude bought an RV and lives outside of their old home.
Yeah, no.
I'm pulling up like that.
Yeah, pulling up
like that, dude. I'm pulling up, going on Snapchat, looking like I'm fucking going through it. Posting every hour, just like I want my family back.
I want my family back.
Want my family back.
Yeah.
Going and picking up the kids, like, so we go get our family back together? Yeah. Or what?
Let's go get some wings. And shit.
Right. Just us, though.
Just us.
My mom said she'll watch the kids.
Nah, I mean, when it came down to that, bro, it's you gotta just self-reflect. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's over, and just put the kids first.
Yeah.
Because I've seen it time and time again where you get the bitter, you know what I'm saying, baby daddy or bitter baby mama, and it's just like it rubs off on the kids and shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's the last thing you want. Like you're already going through enough. The kids are already going through enough, and in a big shift when it comes down, like okay, they're going from like night and day, being like okay, we're staying here.
Yeah.
Now we're going back and forth.
Now we're going back to dad's house.
So it's just like you that's a big transition for them. And then the last thing you need is for them to be hearing like talking in their ear or saying, "Oh, like your mom's this or your dad's
like
that."
talking bad about.
Yes, and it's hard for them as is, and the last thing you need is just to add on to it and have that conflict where they're watching it. You know what I'm saying? So that when it came down to the co-parenting, it's a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah,
for me it was, but it's part of life, man.
Yeah. How did that affect your oldest? Because I know that he was the one who really understood what was going on.
True.
And I never asked just because I didn't want to be sad. You know what I'm saying? Because like it's one of those things, man, where like I have kids have like this thing in my heart, bro, where like I don't want to see kids hurt.
True.
Like it's just one of those things where like ever since I became a dad, like to me it's just like I don't want to see, even if they're not my kids. Mm-hmm. Like to me it's like I'm one of those people that believes in like we protect all kids.
Right.
Like even if like we were down the street at the bus stop and I saw some dude like following a fucking 13-year-old kid or 14-year-old.
Do you know this guy?
Yeah, I'd be like, yo, do you know this guy? No? Okay, well, I'll probably just watch out and make sure that kid gets home or whatever. But like, it's shit like that. Like, how did he deal with that? Like, how was that hard on him? Or was it like not that hard on him because you guys really made it seamless for him? Or what was his processing?
From my perspective, it took him a little bit more of to adapting. Yeah. But I feel like we did a good enough job where it wasn't that much tension in the sense. At the beginning, you're saying it's kind of awkward, but I think me and their mom did a really good job as far as keeping copacetic, like being like cool with each other. Yeah. And it didn't. I would hope it didn't affect him. I haven't seen any drastic change where he's like rebelling out or
and I mean, and I've seen him since then. He always looked normal to me. So like he never came over being sad. Yeah. I've never seen him like, depressed about it or anything. He was always, he comes over, hangs out with Arya. He's just happy.
Right. So I mean, a big thing that helped a lot was we were always sharing time where it came down with my parents, her parents. Yeah. So us going over to their house wasn't uncommon. It wasn't like, oh, we're going to go to grandma's house like every other week or something like that, or once a month. We were there every weekend. That was like a tradition where we went to go have dinner there, Sunday breakfast, You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
them staying there with their grandparents after the breakup wasn't uncommon for them to be like, oh, why are we staying here? It was just so it was an easy transition for them, especially for Easy. Easy was a lot younger.
Yeah.
And so he's just like, okay, we're staying at grandma's house.
How did that conversation go with like her parents and your parents after the whole breakup thing? Was that like a hard conversation to have with her parents and your parents?
Oh, it was a hard conversation to have.
How'd you deal with that? Because obviously, like, you know, without talking about what happened, you know, obviously, because that's no one's business, but like, you know, just kind of going through one of those things where it's like, you know, you're going from this thing where like you guys are together every single day.
Mm-hmm.
No one really knows what's going on in your guys' relationship, and then all of a sudden you guys aren't together.
True.
Right? And then now you kind of have to explain to your parents who are like used to just kind of like your kids are used to seeing you guys together.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden you're not, and because you're not letting people in, they're kind of just like, what happened?
Yeah.
You know.
So I mean, as far as having those conversations, it was kind of cut and dry. It was just like, hey, you know what I'm saying, we were not together. It didn't work out. You know what I'm saying? The parents try asking questions and you try to keep it as short as possible just because, like you said, it's not really anyone's business. You know what I'm saying? Because it's happened between me and her and we were just...
And you guys are just kind of also trying to keep it like we're like... You still are like trying to have that like respect for them. We're like, hey, man, like,
that was my biggest thing.
Yeah, like you're still trying to keep that respect for them because like, yeah, like... You know, I'm sure her dad wasn't the happiest. Her mom wasn't the happiest. Your parents probably weren't the happiest either. So they're probably also just trying to, you know, because it's a life-changing thing for everyone involved.
Mm-hmm.
So they're kind of just also trying to accept it.
The approach I took at it is just, you know what I'm saying, like we could have easily, just like anything can go bad real fast. Yeah. But I wanted to take a different approach at it where it's just like, all right, cool, it didn't work out, but we're not on bad terms. Yeah. I can't hate this girl or I can't hate. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be around her for the rest of my life because we have kids together. You know what I'm saying? When it comes down to being around each other, I'm going to be around her. So, and her family. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, so I never wanted it to be on a bad note where we're disrespecting each other or when it came down to be like that we ended on bad terms. Yeah. So, I mean, it was a hard conversation to have to be like, hey, like I've been with your daughter for X amount of years and we're just
not together anymore.
Yeah, we're not together anymore. Obviously, they had their questions and doubts and stuff like that, but we just said, hey, you know what? It is what it is, and it just didn't work out.
We moved on. Mm-hmm. You mentioned that you guys would have like dinners together and stuff like that. How does that affect your dating life? And yours and hers? Like, how does that work?
Well, at first, you know what I'm saying, it sounds good. You know what I'm saying? It's always like, okay, you know what I'm saying, co-parenting, we do things together as a family and stuff like that. Yeah. But, you know what I'm saying, on paper, it always sounds a lot better than it actually is because then speculations are coming up, doubts of past people's relationships and past people that have dated, you know what I'm saying, certain people that have quote-unquote co-parenting and then just like, oh, they're always going to have access to you. So it does stir up a couple things sometimes, but you got to see the bigger picture where it's just like we're doing it for the kids and then it's tough, bro. It really is because you gotta have that conversation with that person that you're dealing with saying, hey, like this is basically like a non-negotiable. Yeah. And you have to have that one-on-one with that person and be like, you have to trust that's a huge trusting factor that plays into being like, hey, you're dealing with someone with kids or vice versa. You know what I'm saying? Like you also have to understand that if you're going to be dealing with someone that's got kids, depending on what their relationship is, that's a conversation you got to have with them. Yeah. So it is.
Even if you're like on the other side where you don't have any kids, you have to also be mindful that like that girl that you're dating who does have kids, like, bro, she's going to have to deal with that guy. Yeah. You know, whether it's good, bad, ugly, whether you like it or not, she's going to have to go have conversations with him but if he's involved. Yeah, but that's obviously it's easier when he's not involved because then it's like not really there. Right.
But that's where that transparency and the conversation, the maturity level kicks in where you're just like, you have to let them know off the rip, like how your relationship is with the father of your kids or the mother of your kids. You know what I'm saying? So that plays a huge factor in saying like, hey, like I'm not lying or I'm not doing anything behind closed doors.
Like you have to trust me, you know?
Yeah, you have to be upfront. Everything has to be on Front Street, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
when it comes down to the transparency of how it is you co-parent. because everybody's definition of co-parenting is different. You know what I'm saying? Some people use it as a manipulation tactic to being like, I don't want you to be with anybody else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I haven't experienced that, and I'm fortunate enough that I haven't experienced that, but I've seen it where it does affect other people's
I've seen
relationships.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So it's just it's tough at times, but you know what I'm saying, you work with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you have to work. You have to work.
Just like anything in life, it comes in waves, and you just gotta adapt. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's cool at first, where you're just like, hey, you know what I'm saying, dinners and stuff like that, going to movies, going to, you know what I'm saying, fairs. It's cool, pumpkin patches and stuff like that. But depending on what it is, you also have to have that conversation with your mother or your father of the kids or the mother of your kids, and being like, hey, you don't want to overstep boundaries either.
Yeah.
You also got to respect their relationship if they are dealing with someone and they're saying like, hey, you know what, the person I'm dealing with doesn't feel too comfortable
with us doing this anymore.
Cool. And you got to respect it. You know what I'm saying? You can't just like die on that hill and be like, no, this is what we agreed on.
Yeah.
You got to respect.
And I'm sure that shit hurts at first, because like I know that, like, at least speaking for myself, I would feel that way too, because especially like, you know, it was different because me and Belinda are married, so I'd be like, well, so what, you just not gonna go to a pumpkin patch with me because this motherfucker said you couldn't come?
Exactly.
You know, that part of the ego is like,
it kicks in.
It's crazy, bro. Yeah. But it's like the same. It works both ways, because like, you know, she'll come back and she could be like, so what? Just because this bitch says you can't hang out with me no more, you can't hang out with me?
Yeah. Or like, what, you can't talk or something?
Yeah, like what? No, it's not that. But it's also like, I'm also trying to
respect.
It's a respect thing. Yeah. Like if I'm choosing to be in a relationship with this person, I have to respect them and be mindful that they're also a factor in this.
Right. So that also plays a big role in it. So it's just about adapting and whatever works. Because at the end of the day, what may work for me may not work for another person. And shit, you know what I'm saying? And whatever is people's past experiences with you know, saying, dealing with someone that had kids, and it might have gone sour, it might have gone bad. You can't put that on the person you're dealing with. So that's what I'm saying. It's tough, but that's where the maturity level comes in. Whoever you're dealing with, you got to have those serious conversations with, because you got to understand, like, depending on where it is they are on how they are as parents. To me, it's a big thing. To me, it's like, hey, it's a non-negotiable. And sometimes it does come up as an issue, like, oh, like, why are you always there?
Yeah,
it's like that's just how I am. I'm a present father, so I gotta be there.
Whether
they're with me on that day or they're not,
or they're with her.
Oh yeah,
you're gonna be there.
I'm gonna be there because my kids deserve that.
How did you guys decide not to like go through courts to have this handled? Because I'm sure, like, I'm assuming because the breakup was the transition from breaking up to co-parenting and stuff like that was, I'm assuming it was easier than most people have it, that you guys didn't have to take it that extreme. But was there ever a time where you were like, hey, maybe we should go get this on paper? Or maybe there was a time where she came to you and said, hey, like, right now, me and you are not seeing eye to eye, Richie. I think maybe we should go get this on paper.
No, luckily I've been fortunate enough that the mother of my kid, she's been super great when it comes down to that. Yeah. She hasn't been as like bitter to say, hey, like, I want to go this route, or I'm gonna put you on child support and stuff like that. We were from the rip. We were able to come to a common understanding, and she knows from how I am with the boys. She's like, I'm not gonna keep them from you. Yeah. And even then, like, I go through a fucking brick wall for my kids. There's no one in this face of this earth is gonna tell me
they can stop that.
Yeah. So it has never gone, and God willing, I hope it never does. Yeah. And I don't see it going down that path either. But we were able to come to a common understanding where it's just we agreed on certain days, and you know what I'm saying, we're able to split whatever it is we got to split and take care of certain responsibilities, because they're both of ours, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we're when it comes down to that, you
guys are well aware of that. Yeah, you guys have to go 50-50 on it.
True. So we're whatever works for us, we've been fortunate enough to make it work, and
what works for you guys may not work for everybody else.
True, because
but that's why I asked, because like, you know, there might be someone who's listening to this and having baby mama drama, having baby daddy drama, and they're just kind of like just looking for a little bit of like insight. Yeah. You know, because conversations like this aren't had between men. True. They are had, but they're never publicized for the world to hear them. Right. You know, that's why that people don't know that men really have these conversations. Right. And that, like, you know, from a father, you know, we've had, you know, people on who've had their issues with dealing with baby mamas and things like that. And that's one of the reasons why I was like so adamant about like having you on, because like, I think that you have a really great one, because you're mature about it. You know, I can bring on anybody on here who just come on and just talk shit about their baby mama, but I don't want that.
True.
I want to be able to like present and platform something that is like, bro, like you might be the problem, but if you can just listen to what Richie's saying or just take a little bit of what he's saying and implement that into your situation, it can help you a lot.
True.
You know? But like I said, not everything is for everybody.
Right. Because it a big thing is how what approach you're taking at it. Because like I said, a lot of people use kids, unfortunately, as like a pawn. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh,
like holding them over their heads.
Just because it didn't work out between you and me, you're not going to see the kid.
That's
or even then, some guys, you know what I'm saying, and it's not uncommon to be like, oh, she won't let me see my kids.
Yeah. Knowing damn well they're not even trying to see their kids themselves.
Oh, you see them out in the fucking bars all the fucking time.
Yeah, like, bro, I thought you wanted to see your kids.
Yeah. Oh, no, she won't let me see them.
Yeah.
It's just like, me personally, it's been a big thing where it's just like being involved, and I've been fortunate enough to, like you said, like being mature about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that my intentions are pure when it comes down to me being around my kids.
Yeah.
And I'm mature enough to be like, we can be around each other without there being any type
boundaries
of
crossed.
Boundaries crossed or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I respect her boundaries, she respects my boundaries, and we're able to come to a common understanding where we're around each other, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So kind of shifting, you know, back into kind of like the dating thing. Do you look for someone, like, obviously now that you're single, or I don't know if your relationship status, but when you look for a partner, are you looking for someone who has kids? Do you prefer someone who has kids, or do you prefer someone who doesn't have kids, or like doesn't matter? It's just kind of like a vibe thing. Or
kind of the vibe thing. I mean, it'd be hypocritical of me to be like, oh, I want somebody that doesn't have kids. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? In a perfect world, you'd be like, hey, like, you'd want to be with someone that doesn't have kids, but it's at this point in age, it's not.
It's about someone who makes you happy.
Right. You know what I'm saying? You try to find that chemistry, and I'm a lot older now, so it's just, you're not just dating to date, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You have to be mindful of being like, you're getting older, so you want to find someone you can build with. Yeah. Whether they have kids or not. And then even then, you have to also be mindful of being like, how are they with their kids? You know what I'm saying? Because now you got your kids, you're combining two worlds into one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So then it's just like,
because just because you guys are a fit doesn't mean the family dynamic is going to be a fit. Everything, the kids are going to get along.
Yeah,
the kids are going to like this person.
Right.
You know, and that to me would be like the hardest part.
It is.
Because like I am very like much like you. No one's going to keep me away from my kids.
Right.
No one is, and I'm very. If I was in that situation, I'd be like, dude, I don't know if I trust another man around my kids.
Yeah.
That's hard.
That's hard.
That's a really hard thing to like grasp. But you know, women must have it hard too because they're kind of on the same shit. Mm-hmm. You know, but like to me, I think it's a little bit harder for a man because like you don't know who this guy is.
True.
You know, you're taking them for face value off of what you say, and me and you are obviously not together because, well, for whatever reason, you know, one of us doesn't make the best decisions. So it's like, how am I trusting your judgment? How are you trusting my judgment? You know. You can't prove it to her that like, oh, like I make the best judgment when if you guys broke up was your fault.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Or vice versa. So like to me, that should be the hardest part. Is like, I don't know if this guy's a fucking pedophile. I don't know if this guy's
what his intentions
are. Is he abusive?
Right.
He might not be abusive to the kids, but what if he's abusive to you?
Yeah.
In front of the kids.
Yeah.
You know,
they're watching that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot goes into play, bro, and it's tough, but you also have to, you know what I'm saying, like, it's out of your control. You know what I'm saying? You gotta trust.
It is, but it's not.
It is, but it's not.
It is, but it's not. Because I told Belinda, I'm like, look, I'm gonna make it very hard for you.
True.
She's gonna listen to this and I'm like, what the fuck? What did I do?
I'm gonna make your life miserable.
She's like, what the fuck did I do?
Yeah.
So what are the boundaries that I guess that you have when it comes to introducing someone to your kids? Do you feel like you have to meet that person first? Like, would you be upset if the mother of your child or the mother of your kids introduced a man to your kids before introducing that man to you?
Yeah, that'd be
very upset.
Yeah. And that's a conversation we had when we first split up, and then we, you know what I'm saying, a couple months later.
Do you guys regularly have that conversation? Because I feel like when it comes to stuff like that, it's kind of like a contract. You kind of have to like re-update the terms.
Yeah, we gotta update. You know what I'm saying?
Update the terms. Update the software.
Yeah, a couple months at a time. We have conversations, and it's just like we were like,
like a life checkup.
Yeah, like, oh, hey, but we we rarely have that conversation. But when we do, we're just like, okay, so we're still on the same, you know what I'm saying? Like we touch back on the bullet points, like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like it's gotta be X amount of time and you gotta be comfortable.
What's the right amount of time for you?
Me personally, I think it'd be more like around 6 months, 6 to 8 months. Something, because it's got to be something serious, bro. Yeah. You can't just be bringing around some dude you just met, or vice versa on my end. You know what I'm saying? And that's huge for me. You know what I'm saying? So it's got to be a while, bro. You got to trust that person and see how they carry themselves and how they are if they have kids or don't have kids.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, and also see what the dynamic is. If they're a fit to be, you know what I'm saying, be brought around your kids. You know what I'm saying? Because you may be dating some chick that, you know what I'm saying, that you vibe well with, but they're not good around kids. And it's just like, all right, cool. That's not something I want to be around.
That obviously brings it from a 10 to like a 5.
Yeah, big time.
To you.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, your whole thing is like my kids.
Right.
So like if you aren't happy with my kids or if you're not accepting of my kids, it's going to be really hard for me to like you. Because to me, like, I will never understand those women and men who are like, oh, you don't have to meet my kids. I want you to date me. I don't want you to date my kids. Like, I think that's weird.
That is weird.
Because it's like a part of you is your kids. Yeah. So, especially like if you're a mom or if you're a dad and a part of that identity is you, why would you want to be with someone who doesn't even want to like have a relationship with your kids? Right. If that person really loved you unconditionally or loved you with conditions, that person would be like, okay, I understand that this person's coming with baggage. I understand that this person's coming with responsibilities. Responsibilities that may not exactly align to what I got going on, but because I really want to make it work with this person, certain sacrifices have to be made. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah. Well, that's one thing my mom told me at a very young age. She's like, one thing I take like to heart a lot with, you know what I'm saying, if dating and stuff like that. Like if you're dating someone that's got kids, she told me, she's like, you have to be mindful of, like, if you're dating someone that's got kids, you got to realize and you got to take that to heart and understand that you're not, she may be wrong with this, but it's just, I take it to heart. It was just like, you're never going to be number one because you got to be mindful that she's got kids.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's
you can't respect to be like, hey, I want you to, you know what I'm saying, put me first when they got kids and they got responsibilities. You know what I'm saying? Maybe later down the line, if it does get serious, you know what I'm saying, depending on what their approach is, but you can't be like expecting to be the 100% attention on you and stuff like that. Yeah. And that could cause problems, bro. I've had friends where that's an issue for them. You know what I'm saying? Like at first it's all fine and dandy, but then they realize like, hey, you know, like I'm not getting the attention I should be getting. But then it's just like, you got to be mindful, bro. Like they got kids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then that just stirs up a bunch of drama. And then it's not what it panned out to be.
Right. Yeah. That to me, that probably be the hardest part.
It is.
You know, because like my kids are everything. Mm-hmm. So if Belinda was with someone who didn't love my kids, I'd be like, all right, you know, like might as well just give me my kids.
Right.
Like,
and then that's what's hard, bro. Because I mean, al mismo tiempo, you gotta realize they gotta make it. They're trying their best on making it work for their end as well. Yeah. And it's just like, who are you to say, hey, like that's not the right approach? You gotta take it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I get it from a parent's perspective, from a father's perspective. You want to do what's best for them, and you're just like, that's not working out. But you gotta live and let live, man. You know what I'm saying? Like it's part of life, and they gotta make those decisions and go through those trials and tribulations, and that's the only way you'll learn.
Yeah. All right. What is like advice, maybe one or two things that you could tell someone who is currently going through one of those situations where they're going through it with their baby mama breaking up, or their baby mama breaking up with their baby daddy, that right now that they feel like the world is ending? What do you feel? What is like one or two things that whenever you see someone that you feel like this is where you need to start?
I think my advice would be, if they feel like they're going through a rough time, is just, it's not the end of the world. It may feel like it is. It may feel like the world is crashing down on you, but it's not. Time heals everything. To me personally, it does. And just my biggest thing that helped me was being grounded in my faith, just leaving it up to God and asking for guidance and wisdom. You know what I'm saying? And my biggest thing as well would be just get yourself surrounded by good people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, to me it could have been easily, I could have gone, I'll go partying. You know what I'm saying?
Well, into like whatever it was.
Yeah, como dice el dicho, the best way to get over somebody is to get under somebody. But then at the end of the day, that's a short, you know what I'm saying?
That's a short fix, yeah.
Yeah. It's tough, man. You gotta put in the work, as cliche as it may sound, and you gotta put in the work, you gotta do self-reflection.
But it's like with anything else.
Yeah, you gotta put in the work and reflect and say, hey, you know what? Like, if it didn't work out, it didn't work out. Where can I be better?
Right.
Okay.
That's where do I need to make the self improvements?
Yeah, exactly. It's like I reflected on, you know what I'm saying, I have my flaws just like anybody, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And you gotta just try to be better. You know what I'm saying? It's tough, but my biggest thing was going to the gym, being surrounded by good people, not letting the bad days get the best of me. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be bad days, but
just take it a day at a time.
Yeah, my biggest advice would be just reflect on where you can be better, where you feel like you can do work, and just keep on pushing, man.
Yeah, do the work.
Do the work.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. That was deep.
Tough.
That was deep. Yeah, that shit was deep.
Yeah, it's tough, bro. It's because it was a hard time, but you know what I'm saying. Like I had a good support system.
Yeah.
And you just gotta keep pushing, man.
Man. Before we get out of here, I have one last question for you. Okay.
Yeah.
And I want you to answer this honestly. All right. All right. Life or death.
Okay.
You can only save one person. All right. Only one more person fits on this lifeboat. We're all drowning. We're about to die. Who are you picking? Me or Richie?
Damn. Shit.
All right, man. I appreciate you for coming on, bro. I appreciate your time, bro. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. I'll leave Richie's information in the bio in case you guys want to follow him, see him through his journey as well, if you're okay with that.
Yeah, definitely.